This weather tricked me today. When I left my room, it was sunny. I've left my room like 15 minutes ago. Now it's cold. Ever wondered if the sun that I see in South Africa is the same sun that you see if you're in the UK, if you're in America, if you're in Canada? Do you think that things are what they seem? There's this clip that I came across on TikTok a while back. It was a clip taken from an interview. Jordan Peterson was being interviewed and being asked if he believed that the things that are in the Bible actually happen. And dude was like, the question, did that happen, begs the question, what do you mean by happen? Because when you're dealing with fundamental realities, you have to understand that the concept of your questions, when you're digging that deep, are also as questionable as what you're questioning. That clip turned into a meme. But what a lot of people didn't realize is that Jordan Peterson was actually right. He was not right in that context, but the statement was true. He was being asked if what is in the Bible actually did happen. If God exists, the God of the Bible exists, and the Bible is about him, then what's written in the Bible must have happened. And the answer to that, to the question, did that happen, is not, it's not a complex question. You know, it's a simple, straightforward question. If what's written in the Bible actually did happen. Like, there's nothing complicated about it. But his statement was actually true. What do you mean by happen? If you were in a dream and you were being chased by a snake and you woke up, were you chased by a snake? So that's when you'd have to ask, what do you mean by happen? Was I actually chased by a snake? Or I was dreaming that I was being chased by a snake? Or I wasn't even chased by a snake at all. It was an illusion. Some people say that they want me to talk a lot more about Gnosticism. They don't realize that this is as Gnostic as it gets. Like, this is Gnosticism. What we need to understand is what is reality. That's it. That's Gnosis. You have to know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. That is Gnosticism. So when you ask yourself, if something has happened, even if you did see it happen, you are doing something right. If you ask yourself if something exists, even though you can see that it exists, you are doing something right. Because you are trying to deconstruct reality, right? And see it for what it actually is, which is nothingness. Really, like, nothing is actually happening. It's just that it feels like something is happening. Like, when you go outside and you interact with people, it seems like something is actually happening while nothing is actually happening. But the highest truth is that nothing is happening. The same way that when you are in a dream, it seems like something is actually happening while nothing is actually happening. Because if you can realize that nothing is actually happening, you're going to have a lot of power. Some people can say, Benedict, what if you're wrong? What if something is actually happening? What if the outside world truly does exist? Now, I'll ask you this question. Wouldn't you feel more powerful if you felt like nothing was actually happening? Wouldn't that help you detach yourself from a lot of things if you actually felt like nothing was happening? If you actually felt like everything is an illusion, than if you feel powerless? Like, when you tell yourself that, this world was created by 8 billion years ago. The purpose for creating this was to enslave souls, and there's no way out. When you die, you keep on reincarnating back here. You're gonna feel totally powerless, and even if there was a chance that you'll escape this, you wouldn't be able to, because you already feel totally powerless. You might say, but then you said know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So what if that is the truth? And I'll say, in a reality that was created, nothing can actually be true. The reason why is because whoever created it made it all up. Like they kind of created it out of nowhere. So it's not even real. Like, you might still say it's real, but it's not. It's not real because it wasn't. It was all made up. It's like if I come up with a story, right? If I come up with a story that didn't happen, it didn't happen, but it's the story that I created. It's the story that I came up with. The same way that when you're dreaming, things seem to be happening. It's all made up. It's not real. I've been doing a lot of work trying to understand what reality really is. Trying to understand if the past really did happen, or if the future is the only thing that truly exists, and what we end up believing about the past, or what we end up believing that we're discovering about the past, has to do with our current state of mind. I remember I spoke about this in one of the videos I published recently about quantum physics, right? Physicists will tell you that if you put a cat inside a basket and close it, the cat and then live for like a day. Before you open it, the cat is dead and alive. So it will depend on you when you open it. It will depend on what reality you are a vibrational mesh to. So are you a vibrational mesh to a reality where the cat is alive, or are you a vibrational mesh to a reality where the cat is dead? So when it comes to the past, because you live in the present and you can only live in the present, whatever you discover about the past relies on the vibration that your current vibration, basically. So the past didn't happen. Anything is possible, right? The past where the Anunnakis actually did create humans, that past is possible. The past where, but all of it is an illusion. But you have to understand that what you get to experience is created from your subconscious. It's like if you are drawing something. You are coming up with it in your own head. Imagine if you are drawing something but you didn't know that you were drawing it. It'll feel like someone else is drawing it, or it has already been drawn. Let's just say you draw something but you're not realizing that you're drawing it, so it might feel like someone else has already drawn it while you are actually the one who's drawing it. And there's something that I've never told you all this, or maybe I have actually. No, I have told you all this, but it was like 2 years ago. I was sleeping, and my dad called. Before my dad called, I felt my phone ringing, and I also, how do I explain this? Okay, 1 or 2 seconds before my phone rang, I felt it ring, and then it rang. Then I woke up, took the call. Before he could say things, I could hear him say them first, and then it's not that I could hear him say them first, but it's like I knew what he was going to say before he says it. And this is something that always happens to me when I'm in this, when I'm sleeping, but maybe listening to something. Let's just say maybe I was playing a YouTube video, and I'm in this state where I'm kind of like half asleep. If I'm listening to someone talk, I can hear what they say before they say it. Right? I can hear what they say even before they actually say it. Even if I've never watched that video before. It's crazy. I don't know if this happens to you, but that tells me something. That maybe I'm able to connect with the part of my subconscious that's actually, making this shit up. So I can see how this shit is being made up, but also experiencing it at the same time, right? So I can see, this is how it's being made up. This is how it's being made up, but I'm also experiencing it at the same time. That's why I'm experiencing it twice. Wouldn't that explain why sometimes we experience a deja vu? Maybe sometimes you are able to connect with the part of your subconscious that's creating this. And when you connect with that part of your subconscious that's creating this, you see what's going to happen before it happens. And then when it happens, you're like, okay, I've already experienced this before. Wouldn't that explain the Mandela effect? Like what I was saying earlier about the cat being dead or alive. Because if you can see how reality is being created, but then you don't experience that reality, you experience a different reality, maybe it will depend on what your vibrational match to. So now you have already experienced something, but that's not what you experience again because you were no longer a vibrational match to it. So you were able to connect with the part of your subconscious that creates reality. So you experience that reality, but then you have a deja vu moment where you some of the things that you've experienced, you are experiencing, but then there are some few things that are different because you are no longer a vibrational match to that experience that was created. That is why dreams keep on changing. You're like, dreams don't make sense because I can have a dream that I'm in New York and then now I'm somewhere in Nigeria. How does it happen? What if it has to do with what your vibrational match to? It's very tempting to think that reality is solid. Like we're in a solid universe where if something happened, it happened. Where there are things that are happening that we are not aware of. It's a solid universe. It's very, that's what seemed to make sense to believe, right? And if you want to, want people to look at you and be like, yeah, you are sane. That's what you must believe. But if you truly want to wake up, if you truly want to deconstruct reality and reconstruct it, then you must understand how this world really works, right? What is reality? You must first understand what it really is. How can something come out of nothing? What if there is always nothingness? Like, so nothing came out of nothing because there was never anything that came out. All of it is illusions. And that is why this reality is possible. But because you believe that you live in a solid universe, you're like, there must be God that created this. And this God is evil. He wants you to worship him. Why? Why will that be true? Think about it. Like, why? Why? Of all the worlds that God could create, he will decide to create a world where he is fucking evil. Really? What? Because he could make himself happy in any way that he wants. So he could make himself happy by loving his creation. He doesn't have to create a world where animals have to unalive other animals, living in fear 24/7. He doesn't have to. He can make himself happy. God would actually have the free will to make himself happy doing whatever. Like, okay, right now I want to feel happy. I want to look at the grass and feel happy. And he'll feel happy. He wouldn't need to create nonsense to feel happy. It's only if you are powerless that you can't do that. Because you're like, I want this, I want a car, and that's what's going to make me happy. I want to be with this person, that's what's going to make me happy. Yes, I have this person in my life, yes, they love me, but I want to be with that person, that's what's going to make me happy. So you're not free, right? God wouldn't need to create this nonsense. And there are a lot of things that are possible now that tells you that this is a dream. This is made up. The fact that AI, like we have artificial intelligence, bro. Like, have you ever thought about what AI can do now in 2025? What AI can do? Do you believe that in a solid, in a solid universe that would have been possible? Like, this monkey people were able to create artificial intelligence. They've evolved and they reached a point where they were able to create artificial intelligence. That actually happened. The reason why the things that be happening lately seem impossible is because they're all, imagine, like if you're just imagining things, yes, you're going to imagine even things that are supposed to be impossible. In a solid universe, this is not supposed to be possible, right? For me to interact with someone who lives in the UK, that's not supposed to be possible in the solid universe. Like, how do we even discover the technology that allows us to do that? It's all made up. Your subconscious is creating this. And it has to create a background story to make it make sense, like to justify what is happening. So yeah, there are scientists who have discovered this and that, and that's what makes it possible for me to communicate with someone who's in Canada in real time. No, you have to believe the background story, because if you stop believing the background story, if you started to see that this is all made up, then your subconscious wouldn't have been able to fool your ego, and that's what it wants to do, so it must justify the present moment to make it make the same way when you're dreaming, bro. Like your subconscious, it tries to justify what happens. Like, I mean, like if you can fly in your dreams, your subconscious will justify why you are able to fly. How is it that you're able to fly? If you have technology that allows you to teleport, your subconscious, like in your dream, if your subconscious wasn't trying to convince you that what you're experiencing is real, you'll just do anything. It's not like in your dream you can do anything. No, it depends on the dream. In some dreams, yes, there are things that you can do that you can't do in this world and that you can't do in other dreams. But it depends on the dream itself. It depends on the laws of physics in your dream, right? There are some things that you cannot do in some dreams that you can do in some dreams. So you must first realize that this is not real. And as hard as it is to believe that, because of course, like I gave you the mirror example, that if a dog sees its reflection in the mirror, it has to first think that that's not its reflection, it's another dog. But if it stared at its reflection long enough, it realize that no, this thing is responding to what I'm doing. What if that's me? Because whatever I do, it does, and it does it in real time. It's not like it does its own thing, like it's doing what I'm doing in real time. What if that is me? When you look at how the world responds to you, you'll see that there are some things that in a world that's solid, these things wouldn't happen. In a world where things were just happening randomly, these things wouldn't happen. The coincidences, the synchronicities, you're like, nah, that's not possible. Like, how? Some of y'all experience synchronicities that were just too crazy, bro. You're like, no fucking way, bro. Some of you thought of a celebrity, right? You thought of a celebrity, like, okay, yeah, that celebrity is cool. And then your phone rang. You pick up the phone and it's that celebrity. They weren't calling you, it's a wrong number. But you're like, what the You have thought of people that you haven't thought about in like forever. You go online and they're dead. Like, what? I haven't thought about this person in like 5 years. Like, I even forgot that this person existed. Somehow I thought of them. I go online on Facebook. The first post is of someone mourning them. What the hell? How is that possible? I understand that, yeah, because you've always been conscious here, there will be some things that are unbelievable that will happen, but that's just strange. I've had crazy. You guys have been telling me about my videos sometimes, right? Be like, okay, it's crazy that I was thinking about this, and then when I went online, you were talking about it. You were talking about exactly what I was thinking about. How crazy is that? The first video of you that you uploaded, it's you talking about what I was thinking, or what I was discussing with someone about. There was something that I was debating with someone about. When I open my Facebook, my YouTube, that's it. That's on the video, you specifically talking about that. What are the odds of that happening? You think of an idea, and other people somewhere in the world also think of the same idea, as if we're communicating on a subconscious level. Things are working perfectly together. Things are working together in a way that will be impossible in a solid universe, right? It will be impossible in a solid universe for things to work the way that they are working. It's only possible in a world that is made up. It's like if you were trying to write a story. Let's say you were trying to write a book, a novel. That novel is gonna make sense because all the shit that you're gonna write is made up, right? All the shit that you're gonna write is made up, so it's gonna make sense. All the dots will connect, right? Because everything is actually made up by you, so it must make sense. Unless you're crazy, you're gonna write a story that doesn't make sense. But if you're not crazy, then you will be able to write a story that actually makes sense. It's like when you're watching a movie, you watch movies like there's this movie that I've watched. It's a very brilliant movie. It's called Pulp Fiction or something like that. I think it's called Pulp Fiction. Where they'll show you different scenes that happened in the past, in the present, in the future, and it's confusing when you're watching it. You're like, okay, why is this happening? Why is that happening? But then after you've watched the whole movie, now you understand. Now you are able to connect the dots. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't random. Like, but it seems random while you are watching it. Like it's a very brilliant movie. I must watch that movie again. It's called Pulp Fiction. Very, very brilliant movie. This reality only makes sense because it's made up. It wouldn't make... Listen, if you lived in a material universe for real, the universe wouldn't make sense. Shit will just be happening, like the most confusing shit ever. Right? Things will just be happening. So things are working together because they're created from your subconscious. You are the one who's creating this story. And that's what you needed to realize, you know? As hard as it is to realize that, that's what you actually needed to realize to set yourself free. The same way that when you are dreaming, you're creating your dreams. And you can say, well, when I'm dreaming, I'm suffering in some of my dreams. How can I create? The problem is that you do not know what you need to know, right? Let's go back to Gnosticism. Gnosticism is about knowing the truth. Gnostics have been saying that this world is not real. What does that even mean? Wouldn't that even mean that the stories about Sophia, the stories about the archons, the demiurge, stories in the Bible, whatever, wouldn't that mean that none of that should happen? It's all an illusion. And at your level of consciousness, or at the level of consciousness that people were reaching when those books were discovered, because they weren't even written, they were actually discovered. They were discovered, like they started existing when they were discovered. It's not like they were written. They started existing at the time when they were discovered. But at the time, we needed to shift. Like, because before that time, people just believed that, the Christian God is good. Even if he wants to be worshipped and he wants to take people to heaven so that they can worship him, and he's putting us through this crazy tests to see if we qualify to be in his presence, to see if we are holy enough, to see if we are obedient, to see if we have enough faith. Like we needed to shift from that paradigm to actually realize that no, that is bad. That's not what we want. So your subconscious had to help you create a reality where that didn't make sense, because before that time it kind of made sense. Even when I was growing up and I was Christian, it made sense to worship God. I'd be like, yo, worship God, tell him how great he is. You don't even have to beg him for anything. I remember some of the preachers will say that, like, don't beg God for anything. Don't. What you must do is worship him, show him appreciation. You can roll around crying, thanking him for the life that he gave you, thanking you for your health, thanking him for everything that's positive in your life, and thanking him for being in control of your life. So even if you're going through hard time, thank him. And you find Christians doing that, walking around thanking God. Yeah, thank you, thank God. Even try to copy what other people be saying, because I don't know what to say to this nigga. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck am I thanking you for? So I have to listen to what other people are saying, and I'm like, oh yeah, thank you for my life. You know what I mean? Thank you for the car. I don't even have a car, but yeah. But we needed to shift from that and realize that no, that's not what we want. That's not the reality that you want to experience. A reality where there's a God that's going to send you to hell to burn for eternity. So you discovered Gnosticism, and you had to buy the story first for you to wake up. But the final truth is that nothing happened. So when Jordan Peterson said, the question, did that happen, begs the question, what do you mean by happen? Know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. These stories were created from your subconscious. All of them. Stories about Jesus, stories about the Anunnakis, aliens, some gods that existed many, many years ago. All these stories were created from your subconscious. You are like a dog staring at the mirror, doing things and not realizing that you are seeing your reflection. So you watch the dog in the mirror doing things, you even bark at it. You know, you bark at the other dog, you don't realize that the other dog is you. You don't realize that when you leave the mirror, that dog is not going to be there, right? Because people think that this dream will contain you when they die. No, the dream won't contain you. It doesn't exist. It's all made up. It's like if you were drawing something, if you stop drawing it, it's not going to continue to draw itself. It's you who's drawing it. The problem is you are not that good at drawing, so you are drawing something that you do not like. I remember when I was a kid, I like drawing. I've never been good when it comes to drawing. Never ever been good. I'll always be drawing nonsense. The problem is that I don't have a photographic memory. So if you tell me to draw something, I don't even remember how it looks, bruh. You know what I mean? Like the way that I think, I have internal monologue all the time. Like I'm always hearing my voice. There's never a time where I'm not hearing my voice. When I'm thinking, I'm hearing my voice. Some people don't hear their own voices when they're thinking, so they can remember how things look. They can remember how things actually look. I can't. I don't have a vivid imagination. So yeah, it'll be like if you don't know how to draw and you kept on drawing nonsense. We haven't learned how to create what we want to create yet, because we don't even know how we are creating this. But our dreams are giving us clues. I've been telling her this. If you go to sleep and you are feeling like a victim, you're gonna have dreams where you are a victim. You might not necessarily dream about what makes you feel like a victim, but in your dreams, you're gonna be a victim because you're a vibrational match to that experience. Ever woken up feeling like a victim and your whole day just sucks? That's why when they say, oh, when your day starts off like this, it's gonna be like that, whatever. Like that's why people don't want you to ruin their day in the morning. But like if I have a problem with someone that I love, I probably won't tell them in the morning, because I might ruin their whole day. Like, okay, you know what? Wait, I'm gonna talk about it at night. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, during the day, maybe that's better because they will have time to recover. Because if I tell them at night, maybe they're gonna have fucked up dreams. But when you're not feeling good, you tend to, you don't tend, you attract experiences that do not make you feel good. Unless you are, I've been telling you this, that if you're not feeling good about what is happening right now, let's just say something is happening right now and you're not feeling good about it, you can imagine what makes you feel good happening. You know that you're imagining it, but you just imagine it so that you will change your vibration. I've seen this work for me so many times, and it used to work for me especially when I was young. It's like if you lose something, right? Let's just say you lose money. You lose money. In your room, you lose money, and you look for it. Let's say you lose $100. You look for it. Where is it, man? Where is it? You're not finding it. You're not finding it, and you're desperate. You want it. Then maybe you decide to do something else. You're like, you know what? I just wanted to go and buy a beer anyway. What if I just play music? What if I just write a song? What if I produced a beat? What if I had a conversation with this person? And then you have a nice conversation with that person and you forget about that 100 rand, and then you look behind you and you see that 100 rand, you're like, what the fuck? Now you are a vibrational match to whatever, like now you know what I mean, you are a vibrational match to your desired reality. You'll see that, and these things that I'm telling you, if you think about how things happen in your life, you'll see that this is true. It happens that way. And you'll be like, it's just a coincidence. It's just, no, it's not a coincidence. It's how reality is being created. So, really, what you are is consciousness. Or you can say, you can call it whatever you want to call it, actually. You can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, because everything is made up. But your consciousness, or God, but then you forgot, or maybe you didn't even forget, you never even got to realize that you were God. You never really got to realize that you were consciousness. Because how? How do you realize that you're God? So now you are struggling in your own illusions, trying to figure out what is actually going on. And you are making this reality real by thinking that it is and refusing to detach yourself from it. Like, this is real, this is real, this is actually happening, while nothing is actually happening. Because what's real is what you say is real, since you are consciousness itself. So if you don't say something is real, then nothing is real. If you don't say something happened, then it didn't. Because really, what do you mean by happen? You're the one who defines what happening means. Some people will comment and say that what I'm saying is, this is blasphemy. Because I'm saying you're God. I'm saying there's no Jehovah, there's no Allah. All these gods were made up by our subconscious because you were trying to justify what's happening in the world. At the time, you were not conscious enough to understand the truth, right? Like, the truth would have been too much for you at the time, So you had to create stories that it's like if you remember when you were a kid and you were watching a movie. Let me think of a movie that we understand better now. Okay, The Matrix, right? You watched The Matrix for the first time. How did you interpret what was happening? When I watched The Matrix for the first time, I just like people kicking each other's asses, people dodging bullets. Like, that's dope, man. I liked how The Matrix looked, like the movie itself, like it kind of looked bluish and all, like everything about it. What the guys were wearing, the shades, all that. The action, the slow motion, all that. I liked all of that. But I didn't understand shit. I wasn't ready to understand the true message of the movie, the true message behind the movie. But as I become more conscious, so this is what's happening. Neo was stuck in a simulation, so he was taken to the real world. And as I become more conscious, like, okay, what if the real world is also a simulation? I mean, really, how was he able to stop bullets in the real world? No, he didn't stop bullets. He stopped these machines that were trying to kill him in the real world. How? I mean, yes, the oracle said the power of the one extends beyond this world. But what if what she actually meant is that, it extends beyond this world because the other world is also a simulation. So the power of the one extends beyond this world into the other simulation, because there's many simulations. Why will there only be one simulation? This is a very good question. Why will the machines only create one? You see, now you are expanding your awareness. Now you are asking the right questions. Now you are becoming more and more conscious, which is what's been happening. That's why now you are ready for this kind of truth. So yes, you had to believe in God, you had to believe in the demiurge, you had to believe in Sophia, you had to believe in eons, right? But as you become more and more conscious and you realize that everything is an illusion, I would like for I'd like for the creators of the Matrix to make like the new Matrix, if they're making another Matrix movie. I think it would be brilliant if they actually made a Matrix movie where where there's many simulations, right? Not just one simulation. So Neo keeps on waking up and like, oh. So I thought this was the real world. What's the real world? And you end up realizing that everything is a simulation. This reminds me of the movie, what is it called? Is it Dark Knight? Something like that. Oh, Dark City. I think it's called Dark City, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Dark City? No, it's not Dark City. But there's this other movie where this guy was in a simulation, didn't know that he was in a simulation. But yeah, he kept on waking up after realizing that he was in a simulation. Wake up, and end up waking up in the real world. But it would be brilliant if he realized that the real world is also a simulation. Like, I would like a movie like that, you know, that's centered around that concept. I like the movie The Waking Life. If you haven't watched The Waking Life, watch it. It's very brilliant. If you like my videos, you're gonna love that movie. You know, the conversations that they have, this is the kind of conversations that we have on this channel, you know. Like they question reality, they question everything, you know. There's about a guy who kept on dreaming and ended up realizing that it was all a dream, and he wanted to wake up, didn't know how to wake up, but he ended up waking up. It's a brilliant movie. Because you gotta wake up, right? One day the dreamer gotta wake up. You can't keep on having this dream. Like, you have to wake up and realize that it was all a dream. And if you are able to do that, you'll be more free. You know, you won't feel stuck, because you don't want to feel stuck. You don't want to feel like there is something that is outside of you that has power over you. You know, when things happen, you're like, it's happening because of something that is outside of me. You know, there's these invisible forces that be making these things happen. Yes, maybe at the level that you are, that is good to believe, because maybe the truth that you this is created from your subconscious, so everything is made up, maybe that is not what you're ready for now. So it has to be one step at a time. Like, there was a time when I used to believe in New Age spirituality. I needed to believe that. There was a time when I used to believe that I chose to be here. And you might say, well, if this is created by your subconscious, it's raining now. This weather keeps on changing, bruh. It's the weirdest shit ever. Like, there was a time when believing that I chose to come here, consciously chose to come here. There was a time when that actually made sense. Let me just go back, because I know it's about to like rain, you know, like it's always happened like this. Oh, it seems like the rain has stopped. Man, something's wrong with this weather, bruh. It can't be like this. It can't rain for 20 seconds and then stop. And then now it's sunny, and then this weather keeps on changing. It's the craziest shit ever, man. Where were we? Oh, you might say that, Benedict, how can you say you didn't choose to be here? The same way that I can say I didn't choose my dreams. I don't know how I'm creating them. What happens is that your subconscious creates what you are a vibrational mesh to, but you're not consciously choosing these experiences. Your ego is not consciously choosing what experiences to have. It's not like if I tell AI to create an image of something. Let's say I told Meta AI to create an image of something, but I didn't know how to tell it. So it created an image of something that I do not like. It doesn't mean that just because I was the one who told it to create that image, it's what I chose. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, I can't, let's just say I couldn't understand English, so I couldn't write at all. Because, I mean, AI is becoming so advanced that it knows like almost every language. Like, you could try to translate, like, you know, Tonga, I speak Tonga. You could translate Tonga to English using artificial intelligence now, so it's dope. But let's say I couldn't write at all, so I wrote nonsense, and AI produced nonsense because I'm writing nonsense because I don't know how to write. You see? So that's what's happening. You don't know how to communicate with your subconscious. So what you are experiencing is nonsense because you don't know what you're doing. That's the real problem here. No, this is Gnosis, guys. Like, this is Gnosis. This is what Gnosticism is about. You know, it's not about the story. Like, because here's the thing: you have heard people like David Icke talking about Gnosticism. A lot of these guys been talking about Gnosticism, about Sophia, about the demiurge, but there's something that is more true, right? There is something that makes more sense. And that can actually liberate you. Because that's the end goal here. Now, the end goal is to evolve enough to be able to see things as they are. It can be fun to study books about Gnosticism. It can be fun to watch movies about Gnosticism. But you never truly wake up if it's just about fun. I've listened to a lot of people who consider themselves to be Gnostics being interviewed on Gnostic radio. And you'd see that to them it's more about fun, you know. They just study a lot of different Gnostic books or even write their own books, but it's fun. Like, you read their books, it's fun. They're focusing more on the ancient text without really asking themselves if these texts are really based on truth. I mean, how can we say that Sophia created the demiurge and we ran with that story without real proof? Because it's the same as believing stories about heaven that's written in the Bible. It's like, how do they know those stories? Like, how did they know what happened in heaven? Like, the people who wrote those books, how did they know what happened in heaven? So you end up realizing that, no, actually, these books are there to guide us. Not necessarily to give us the truth, but then to guide us towards the truth, right? But what is the truth? The truth is that everything is an illusion. Nothing is to be taken seriously. Stop the overthinking. When things happen, don't even overthink. Don't just like I've been telling you, that try to focus on your energy on what you want at the time. Like if you feel like you're having these negative thoughts and you're no longer feeling good because of that, focus on the positive things that you want to think about, because nothing is real. Otherwise, you'll just be creating nightmares for yourself, and there's no one that's going to save you except yourself. So to truly free yourself, you need to change how you view reality, because you believe the wrong things about reality. Like, you need to change the way that you view everything. The way you view relationships, friendships, the way you look at yourself. The way you view the past, the future. Like, you need to change the way that you view the world, because it's like being blind. Like, the way that we're taught to view the world is not different from being blind. Like, we're not viewing the world as it actually is. See, if you were stuck in a dream and you believed you were not stuck in a dream, it will be like being blind, because you're stuck in the dream and it's not real, but you're like, it's real. You are attached to it being real. So what the hell? No matter what you learn in a dream, if you don't ever realize that what's happening is not real, no matter what you learn in a dream won't be real. You could learn science in your dream. You can learn how to do some things in a dream. You can learn how to create a weapon. You can learn how to create a camera. But nothing is real. So really, true gnosis will be knowing that you are in a dream. It's not you believing the stories that are written in the books that you discover in your dreams. Because you can have a dream where you discover a book about what happened in the past, and then you read the book and it makes a lot of sense, but it's not waking you up, because nothing really happened in the past, because there is no past. Everything is happening in the present, and it's just a dream. So true gnosis is really about taking your power back. Not being frustrated by the little things that be happening in this world. Hey, that person that I defended, they betrayed me. Now I can't sleep because of that. No, you're taking it seriously. You shouldn't take anything seriously. That's how you detach yourself. Let it happen. Watch the story unfold. Do your own thing. Let it be. It's all fake. It's not real. There are a lot of things that happen to test you or to bring you down. But it's you who allow most of the things to bring you down. Like, you actually do know what you need to do to not be brought by anything down. You know you need to stop with the overthinking. Learn to live in the moment. Realize that nothing is true. And watch this movie as it unfolds. But make sure that you are in a good you're in a good vibration. When negative things that you don't want to see happen, don't focus too much on resisting. Focus a lot on creating a new reality. Let me give you a simple example. I remember when I was in grade 12, there's these people who came who were searching for talent. So people with talent had to compete. I ended up being the only one who was picked from my school. So I had to compete with talented people from other schools. I didn't end up winning. But after losing, I didn't focus on the mistakes that I made. Like, okay, I shouldn't have performed this song, or I shouldn't have performed like that. I should have been more creative. I didn't even focus on that. Like, okay, I lost. Those who go to the next round. And at the time, because of how much I loved hip hop, like, it mattered, like me losing did matter. But you know what? One of the guys that were judging is a producer. So I approached him. Next week, I'm coming to your studio to make a song. Saved up some money, went to the studio, made song. And that was the first song that I ever made. Like, recorded, actually. Like, I've written many songs, but I never recorded a song. So that was like the first time recording a song. Now I've created a new reality. I found an opportunity in my failure. You know what I mean? That's how it should be. Like, you'll be thinking what you can do to make things work in your favor in a situation, more than, like, be thinking about solutions, more than thinking about how hurt you are, how unfair life has been to you. You focus more on how you can make things better. Because this is your own dream. And it can easily turn into a nightmare if you allow it to turn, like, it's already, like, it might suck now, but you can make it suck more. You do have the power to make your dream suck more. So really, the focus must be becoming lucid in your own dream, figuring out how reality is being created and how you can create better reality. Through your attitude towards life, through your own emotions, how you look at yourself, how you interpret what is happening, Because maybe you've been looking at things wrong your whole life. You've been working in the dark. You've been drawing something, but you didn't know how you were drawing it, or you were still learning to draw. And maybe there's a better way to draw. Maybe there's a better way to learn how to draw. There's a better way to learn how to create. Maybe there's a better way to have a functional relationship between yourself, your ego, and your subconscious. So it's a relationship with yourself, basically, but there's unconscious parts of yourself that you might not truly understand, you see? So you are having a relationship with the unconscious part of yourself. Because what's creating reality is the unconscious part of yourself. And this is where your deepest traumas are stored. Wounds that never healed, feelings of not being good enough. It's where your deepest joys are stored. The situations that made you very joyous in your life. So when you do things that make you feel a certain way, that's associated with how you felt, that's associated with the traumas that you've experienced, the joys that you've experienced, then you automatically find yourself in a vibration where the experiences that make how you felt true, you find yourself attracting those experiences, you see. And that's how reality is being created. That's why in any situation, you mustn't feel like a victim, but also be able to see the truth. So you don't feel like a victim, but you're seeing the truth of the situation, of what happened that was wrong. But you never chill and be like, I'm a victim, this is bad, there's nothing I can do, this is bad, blah, blah, blah. And you just tell yourself that, it becomes more true the more you tell yourself that. But then if you are focusing on solutions, if you are like, okay, some mistakes were made, but this is how I deal with this situation, this is the most brilliant way I can deal with this situation. And that's what you must be asking yourself whenever you're dealing with a situation. Ask yourself, what's the most brilliant way to deal with this situation? Like that must be the first question that comes into your mind. No matter what you're dealing with, don't be like, I gotta be emotional, I gotta be a victim, no. What is the most brilliant way to deal with this situation? Your friends betrayed you. You go call them like, why did you betray me like that? Blah, 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 and then maybe make things worse. I'm not saying you don't call and talk to your friends if they betrayed you, but ask yourself, in this situation, what's the most brilliant thing I can do? You'd realize that things will go well for you because you're making the best decisions that you can make. You're not allowing your emotions to control you. You're not allowing your traumas to control you. You see, what is happening actually, and here's how I think reality is being created. So when something that happens triggers some trauma, what happens is that you find yourself in a vibration where you are creating more traumatic experiences that are associated with what happened. But if you shift from that reality and try to create a new reality, then you create experiences that are in alignment with the vibration that you're on. And then you create better results for yourself. So that's why feeling sorry for yourself shouldn't even be an option, because it doesn't benefit you in any way. So you need to deconstruct this hell rim and reconstruct it, because now it's a mess. So you deconstruct it and then reconstruct it and make it your job. Like, that's what I gotta be working on. It's not more about what's happening on the outside world, man. You can work very hard, you can try to do things right, but you'll keep on having fucked up experiences if you don't work on your subconscious. You will keep on creating bad experiences. It's about how you feel, man. It's about how you feel. It's about which feelings you focus on more. Do you know that you can be addicted to bad feelings? A lot of people might not realize that. You can actually be addicted to bad, like feelings that are bad, negative feelings. You can actually be addicted to negative feelings. You can be addicted to feeling sorry for yourself. You can be addicted to feeling like a victim. You can be addicted to feeling insecure, to feeling like things will never ever work out for you. You find that is what is true in your reality because that's what you're focusing on. And remember, you're God. So whatever you're creating becomes reality. So you are busy focusing on that I'm a victim. And there is something that you feel, you know what I mean? There's something that you feel that you kind of like benefit from, I guess. It can happen that you actually become addicted to feeling like a victim, and you actually become a victim because you're addicted to feeling like a victim. That's why it's important to focus more on what you like. Even in relationships, you can be in a relationship with a person, you find that they are good in so many ways, but you are focusing on the things that you don't like about them. You can make that mistake and you'll regret that mistake. It could be a relationship with your children if you've decided to have children. But it isn't something that I'll advise you to do in this room. It could be a relationship with your parent. You find that your parents, there are things that suck about them because, this is not perfect, right? All of this is just not perfect, all of it. So of course your parents won't be perfect. So there are some things that you hate about them, but there are a lot of things that you love about them. You could focus on the things that you hate about them. You don't even appreciate what you like about them, so you're focusing 100% on what you hate. You know, whenever they do something wrong, you focus on that. I've been close with people who are like that. They appreciate nothing. Everything that's good, they never appreciate it. They focus on the bad. Like as soon as you make a mistake, yo, it's a big deal. You could be perfect, bruh. And then one day you just make one mistake. You could be saying the most positive things all the time when you're talking to them. Most positive thing. You say one wrong thing, boom. That's what they're gonna focus on, and they'll never ever forget. You see? So it shows that some people really enjoy feeling like a victim. There's something that they're getting from that. Because they're choosing what makes them feel like a victim and they're focusing on that, while they can actually choose what makes them feel good and focus on that. They'll be like, if you bought food and maybe they mix the food with, like, there's different food there, and there's food that you like, there's also food that you don't like. You ate the food that you don't like so that you can blame those who cooked it. Like, why did you cook it like that? But then there's food that you like. Why don't you focus on the food that you like? You see? So you're focusing on the food that you don't like while there's food that you like. You see the mistake that you can make in this reality? So since you're God, creating this subconsciously, if you are going to be focusing on what you don't like, don't you think that will be more of what you'll be creating? Because that's what you're focusing on. There are things that you like about this place. As bad as it is, there are things that you don't, you like that. That's cool. That's, I know that it's a hell realm. There's a lot that I do not like, but I also like that. I like making YouTube videos. Why not focus on that? Why not make sure that every day I upload a new video talking about these topics? That makes me feel better. Won't I be able to grow my channel? Won't I be able to connect with more like-minded people? Wasn't there a time when I felt truly alone because I had no one to connect with? But now I have a lot of people that I can talk to. When I'm not okay, there are a lot of people who text me and ask me, are you okay? If you want to talk to someone, you can talk to me. Why? Because I focus on that. I focus on creating reality that I wanted. I could sit in my room and be like, okay, now I have this problem. Let me just think about it. Let me think about it, and not even do what I want to do. Not even think about what I want to think about. So you can deconstruct the whole room and reconstruct it. Because every day is new. Every day is an opportunity to do that. I do understand how hard it is to actually create what we want to create. How hard it is to understand how our subconscious really works. How hard it is to, focus on thoughts that we'd like to think about, right? It's not easy. People have been through so much that some things, when they happen, they trigger really negative emotions that they don't know how to ignore. In fact, that for them to actually ignore these negative emotions, it's going to take time. It's going to take, a lot of work. So we need to teach ourselves to actually see the world as it really is. To see the truth. We shouldn't be afraid to know. What does the Bible say? My people are suffering because of lack of knowledge. Even though the Bible is written by people, even though everything is an illusion, but realize that there's some truth in that. Like if you don't have knowledge, you suffer, bruh. If you don't know how something works, like if they gave you a car, you don't know how a car works, you're probably not going to drive it well. Gave you a plane, like fly this plane, you're probably not going to drive it well. You don't know how it works, you see. So now you're in this body, you're dealing with your subconscious, reality is being created, but you don't know how any of this shit works. You're still learning because there's no one to teach you, right? So you're teaching yourself. So you are seeing the synchronicities and like, oh, okay, why did this happen? Oh, it's because of this, it's because of that. Is it? And because of that, there's growth, there's real growth. Try to forget what you think you know. Try to detach yourself from what you are emotionally invested in. From the reality that you are emotionally invested in. For example, someone is going to comment that no, we live in a material universe, there's a dummy, there's this and that. But you find that they're attached to that being true. Sometimes it's not even about the truth. It's about what you want the truth to be or what you are emotionally invested in. So you need to detach yourself emotionally from a lot of what you call reality. And look at reality like you're a baby, and don't be trying to learn from people that you can see are not really making a lot of sense. They're just powerful. You see, to get to the truth in any situation, you don't focus on those who are powerful. Like, if you want to know the truth about religion, you don't focus on those who are privileged and powerful to tell you the truth. It doesn't work that way. It's usually those that you think are crazy that will actually be telling you the truth. Because in this realm, it's the most charismatic people that win. You don't win because you're speaking the truth. And it's not easy to find the truth if you are winning. If life is treating you so well, you might not even want to ask the deepest questions about it. Find that there's this man, everyone wants to follow them. They're not very smart, they're tall, they have a deep voice, handsome, they're very confident because, well, they were treated so well by life. They know how to speak, but they're not very intelligent. But people like them because they're charismatic. But there's this person who will always be speaking the truth. They're not charismatic, not very handsome, not very tall, not very confident, but they're speaking the truth. So you go with what truly makes sense, right? You don't go with what most people like. You'd realize why a lot of people that are liked in the society are liked. Like, it has nothing to do with how right they are. This world has always been about power, bruh. Who's more powerful than other people? It has never been about the truth. What is more true? It has never been about intellectual honesty. So, if you want to learn from someone, learn from people that actually make sense when they speak. Like, you would even pause their video and be like, okay, does that make sense? And you find out that it really does make sense. But there's some people who are just charismatic, bro. Pastors, very charismatic people. To become a pastor, you gotta be charismatic or learn to be charismatic. It's not easy, but you can learn to be charismatic. And you find that you are connecting with a lot of people because of your charisma. Not because you make a lot of sense. Not because you're teaching people anything. No, because you are charismatic. So learn to focus more on what you like. If you dwell on what you don't like, trust me, you are poisoning your subconscious. If you dwell on what you don't like, you are literally poisoning your subconscious. There's nothing that is actually true. I want you to get that, because this is important. Like, if you truly get what I'm saying when I say there's nothing that is actually true, it's up to you what you want the truth to be. Why then do you want the truth to be something that is negative? Right? Why do you dwell on the negative stuff so much that it becomes your reality and you become a vibrational match to these experiences that you do not like, because that's what you're focusing on? You cannot be a victim of your own subconscious anymore. Realize that you've already suffered a lot because you believed in this lie all your life. There was no one to tell you the truth. The dog believed that what it's seeing on the mirror is another dog, and because of that it suffered. Because it's barking at the dog and the dog is barking back, and it wants to kill, it wants to fight that dog, but it can't because there's a screen in front of it, and it doesn't understand why that dog is still there, why that dog doesn't leave, and it's invading its space. So it's gotta fight that dog. It's gotta try to scare that dog, but in the process of doing that, it's hurting itself because there's no one else. It's just it's alone. There's no other dog. You see the mistake that you'll be making. There are no other people. It's just you. But you are focusing on the negative things that you think other people are doing, even though they don't exist. Meaning that they're not doing anything because there's nothing for them to actually do because they don't even exist. It is you who is actually doing something. If you want to believe that there's something that can be done in this realm, in this illusion, so it's you who does something. Other people are not doing anything because they don't exist. You are just imagining them doing something. So if you imagine someone, and I think the people do this to themselves. I used to do this a lot to myself. Like I would imagine myself in court after being wrongfully convicted for a crime. Like the things that I would say in court, and I would actually feel negative emotions. It had been because of what I'm imagining. Knowing damn well that I'm imagining what's happening, so it's the same thing. It's like you'll be creating this reality, this scenario that's not even real, and you make it real, and now you allow it to make you feel angry, to make you feel negative emotions, to make you feel like a victim. If you don't want to live in your own head, try to live in the moment, meaning that you don't think a lot about things. You just be like, it is what it is. It is what it is. You focus, you just live in the present. You look at that bed and wonder what it's actually doing. And see if you can get closer to it without it flying away. What kind of bed is this? Everything is weird, isn't it? Isn't everything weird? But you can live in the moment and teach yourself to live in the moment all the time. It's just that we are addicted to thinking, and we hate ourselves because we don't even know how to control our thoughts. So what if you just live in the moment? What if there's nothing to think about now? And what if you actually create better when you're not thinking, when you quiet your mind, when you actually live in the present and focus on what's happening around you? Because that's what truly matters at the end of the day. It's what's happening now. Because now is the only... If you want to say that something exists, then it's now. Now is the only thing that's real. Now is the only thing that's true. It's your awareness. Everything else that is hating you right now doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in your reality. Except for what's hating you that's happening right now, at this very moment. But if something has happened yesterday that hurts you, it doesn't exist. It's just in your memories and you're thinking about it, and you haven't learned to train yourself to not think about things that hurt you. Because you see, the Matrix wanted you to focus on the things that hurt you. You've been trained to hold grudges. You've been trained to be angry. And that causes suffering for you. You think that you being angry, you holding grudges, you feeling like a victim, that's good, right? Because that's making you smart now. You're realizing how horrible other people are, but then you're the one who suffers. You're the one who suffers in the end. So that's why you should try your best to not look at yourself as a victim in any situation, to not dwell on the negative things that people have done to you, or to think about these things a lot. You think about what you like. You think about what's happening now. You think about what you can do now. What can I do right now to feel better? Oh, let me take a long walk. Good, that can make you feel better. Let me make a video, that can make you feel better. Let me talk to someone, that can make me feel better. If I can't do any of that, I'm just going to keep on trying to think what I can do to feel better. Let me see if there's a new series that I can watch that I can actually like, Let me see if there's new music out there. But sometimes you can sit and just be miserable while there are things that you can do at the time that can make you feel better. You see? And what happens is, if you don't allow yourself to be miserable and try your best to find out what you can do at that very moment to feel better, you always distract yourself with things that make you feel better, you will eventually learn to only focus on the things that actually make you feel better. Which is something important. No, you'll eventually learn to only focus on things that actually make you feel better. Like I keep on telling you all, that you don't escape the hell realm while you are still, after dying. You escape the hell realm while you're in it. Because no matter where you find yourself, you still deal with the same shit. So it's about how you interpret what is happening. That's escaping the hell realm. That's truly waking up. You see? Because you're still going to dream, you're still going to have nightmares, but imagine if you were able to realize when you're dreaming that it's a dream, it's not real. And I'm not even talking about lucid dreaming. I'm talking about you're not even aware on that level that you are dreaming, but then your attitude towards things, like you no longer take things too damn seriously. So even when you are in that dream and things are happening, you don't take them seriously. Your attitude is different now. So things don't affect you the same way that they used to, because you're not taking these things way too damn seriously. You see? Because there are things that you take seriously in your own dreams, and you're affected negatively by these things that you're taking seriously. And there are things that you don't take seriously in your own dreams, and you're not affected deeply by these things. So it's up to you. Imagine if you wake up from this and you find yourself in a world where that's kind of like worse. How would you respond to your challenges in that world that you find yourself in? But imagine if things that be happening do not affect you like that anymore, because of how you interpret what's happening. You realize that none of it is real. So even if you find yourself in a world that's worse, nothing is real. Yes, you will still have desires, and if your desires ain't met, it's not gonna feel good, but you'd realize that the hurt isn't the same. You see, like, what truly traumatized you is you feeling like taking what's happening to you seriously. It's you feeling that what's happening is actually real. Things cannot always go your way, but if you don't feel like any of this is real, if you don't feel like any of this is serious, then you won't feel a lot of negative emotions when things are not going your way. You need to believe that you can really heal your subconscious. Because some people, when you tell them that, they don't believe that that can happen. Like, nah, it's impossible. Like, anything should be possible with your subconscious, really. Like, it should be always possible with your mind. It's your own mind, right? There are a lot of things that people felt like they couldn't do that they were able to do. There's been things that I felt like I couldn't do until I told myself that let me just do it. And I was able to do it and get better at it and became very good at it because of what me telling myself what I want to focus, like me focusing on being able to do it. So now I'm actually making it possible to do something because I'm believing that I can do it. But if you don't even believe that you can do it, of course you're not going to be able to do it. Healing your subconscious is really, really important. You've been through hell, you know. But before you do that, you must also realize what is true, which is that nothing is real, so that you don't take any of the things that happen to you very seriously and you don't really care that much, you know. You become a stoic. You enjoy what you can enjoy and not pay attention to what you're not enjoying. Just like I gave you this example of food, bro. Like if you can think of this example all the time, I think you'll be able to do it. What I'm saying you must do. And if they give you food that you don't like and food that you like, focus on the food that you like. What's the point of eating the food that you do not like? What are you benefiting? Imagine if you're focusing on how they cook the food. Like, they added too much salt. You know, they should have done this, they should have done that. They did that because they don't care about me. There's food that you like. Focus on the food that you like. Eat the food that you like. Forget about the food that you don't like. Pretend as if the food that you don't like doesn't exist. Because, well, it doesn't. Focus on listening to music that you like. Can you imagine how crazy you would need to be to listen to music that you don't like while there's music that you like? You don't like Drake, but you'll be listening to Drake complaining about how bad he is. Listen to his voice. He's always making the same kind of music. He doesn't have punchlines, doesn't write his own shit. Listen to the artists that you like. Listen to Kendrick if you like Kendrick. And yeah, we feel good. You're focusing on what you like, right? Focusing on watching the movies that you like. It's not like you're being forced to watch movies that you do not like. Can you imagine if you complain about something that you don't like, even though some people like it? It's not like you are forced to listen to these songs that you don't like, watching movies that you don't like, listening to people that you do not like, watching shows that you do not like. So one of the biggest problems is that we have trained ourselves to focus on what we do not like. We have trained ourselves to focus more on complaining. And because of that, we miss what we like, right? We miss what we enjoy. I wish we were taught this when we were little, bruh. Can you imagine if you figured this shit out when you were still a kid? You've been taught how to like control your mind when you were a kid, because they don't teach you that at all. They're focusing on brainwashing you, turning you into their slave of the system, of this system. You don't work for yourself. They don't really care about your well-being, your emotions, or whether you learn how to control your reality, make things work in your favor. They don't care about it. They only care about you being a slave. So of course, you have to learn these things now. Like now it actually matters. See, you actually found yourself in a realm where everything is upside down and you believe the lies while you were being hurt by the truth. You see, that's why the truth hurts, because you believe the lies. But truth will exist. If someone is punching you in the face, but they're telling you they're not punching you in the face, they're healing you, it's gonna hurt still. Because you know that they're punching you in the face. Like that's already has been manifested. So you are just telling yourself that what was manifested wasn't actually manifested. But then you don't even believe that. So it's not working. You're just trying to play games with your subconscious, but you're not winning. But when you realize that, no, this motherfucker is punching me in the face, that's been manifested and I don't like it, this stupid, and I'm not going to allow them to punch me in the face anymore, right? I'm not going to allow this person to sit on my face anymore, right? I'm not going to allow this person to treat me like a slave anymore. Now, the feelings start to change. Now you don't feel as hurt as you used to feel because of that. Because you wanted to focus on waking up and seeing what is going on, what's being done to you, what's making it hard for you to heal. It's you against you. Thank you all, guys.